Hey, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Epic Infinity Plays video, ladies and gentlemen. And today, I want to review RE1 Remake. Man, this is an awesome game. I'll say that. Honestly, this game, while it has some cheesy cutscenes and voice lines in any video game, its gameplay makes up with the horror. The gameplay is terrifying because because honestly, it's so scary to fight the monsters in this game. But anyway, let's get right on to the review. I'm gonna start with the graphics because I'm gonna quickly move on with them. For being like a now this is the remastered version, I think, but even that it still looks like but it very clearly has the PS2 graphics. But even for PS2 graphics that originally in 2002, it's hold up pretty dang well for being like I think 24 years old. Seriously, this game's aesthetic yeah, static makes the graphics have aged less. Now it has some age to it, but man, do these but man, the graphics actually still really hold up to this day. The aesthetics, everything, the graphics, they're extremely good and they fit well with the horror tone they're trying to do. The put it together, textures, graphics, aesthetics, they're all good. Anyway, move straight on to the gameplay. Gameplay, there's definitely some things to say about the tank controls. And it's that I had trouble at the start with the tank controls, but over time becomes much easier to use. And while it can get a little annoying trying to navigate people with the tank controls in high stakes situations, the tank controls aren't terrible. They're actually pretty good. The tank controls definitely aren't like a definitely aren't the most ideal movement choice for a video game, but you can definitely still make do with what you have with the tank controls in this game. Now the camera angles, they get some great angles when stuff's going on. We're moving to rooms. The door animations, yeah, they're really good. They look. There's some the door animations again. They're pretty good, and they were badly recreated in RE5 like Lost in Nightmares because like that they look terrible in that game. The door animations they like try to recapture the door animation from the original RE games and completely failed doing that. Now the shooting is solid. Though it is kind of weird to aim with L1 and R1 though. That's a little strange, but you can get used to that. Now, inventory system. Yeah, this is an inventory system where you really need to manage your inventory. Inventory management is a big part of this game, and they let you know that. You consistently need to run back to pick up things after putting things in chests to make space for them. You need to manage what possible thing could be, what item could be used for a possible upcoming thing, and try and figure out what with the key item stuff like the red book and the cranks. You need to sometimes anticipate what's coming your way, so you don't need to truck back a long way. And honestly, and yeah, it becomes even more difficult in Trisha's campaign because he only has 6 inventory slots compared to Jill's 8. So inventory management, you really need to manage your inventory. It's a core mechanic, and it adds to the whole experience, in my opinion. Now, as for the puzzles, there's definitely a very few. There's definitely a very few head scratching puzzles in this game. A lot. You can probably now a couple of them are now puzzles. Opening up the certain doors are easy. Finding the keys and the guard dog puzzle. Once you figure it out, you know what you're doing. And again, the statue room puzzle. With statue room puzzle where you get one of the masks, and statue room where you open up the door to George Trevor's grave. Once you know what you're doing, it's very easy to do. But a couple like the eye door puzzle. Puzzle do take a bit more critical thinking to figure out. Oh man. Now, the different weapons in this game, like the handgun, the shotgun, very fun to use, and the grenade launcher in Jill's campaign, it's a freaking godsend. It's so freaking good. Now, I'll be clear with you, I played both campaigns, so yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed both times I played them. There's a lot of slight differences and key differences that make them feel fresh each time you play them. Now, in this remake, And the remake most importantly adds a lot of cool stuff to this game, to the original game. Not only the graphics, but there's some pretty neat add-ons that they add to the add to this game, like the Crimson Heads. Now you need to make sure to burn zombies to fully stop them, or else they will rise up hungrier, deadlier, and angrier than ever, and stronger than ever as well. And the whole Trevor family stuff they put in the game, another awesome addition. More lore, more awesome, creepy storytelling. The stuff they added to this game really helps make this game feel more fresh. Now, hang on, wait. Now, moving on to the boss fights. Honestly, all the boss fights in this game aren't really that aren't necessarily that special. They're also just big like animal, also just kind of big animals. They're really just big creatures that need to be taken care of by shooting at them. But that doesn't mean they're not fun. Like Yawn, he's a simple boss, but it was fun. He was creepy and he was fun to try and avoid while shooting at him. Plant 42, you know, when that vine shot up through the floor crack, that actually really startled me. Me, but and 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 this boss fight is really just him trying to shoot acid at you while you're trying to shoot him. Then you have Black Tiger, a giant freaking spider. You trying to he spawns in with other spiders spawning in, and you gotta try and avoid his charge attack and his like poison spit attack while you shoot at him. And you finally have Tyrant, who you really just try and avoid him around the room while you shoot at him. None of the bosses are mechanically complex, but that doesn't mean they're fun. They're still pretty fun to take down. Now I probably should have talked about this earlier, but let's move on to enemies. The regular zombies, you know, that iconic like head turn to show the first zombie. But it was a pretty good. It was a. It was a pretty good show introduction to the main enemies. You know, zombies in general look look rotten and it's kind of creepy, but they're not really hard to take down. The Crimson Heads, oh my god, those freaking things are terrifying once you see them. You will shit your pants. And we got the Hunters, which are freaking so aggressive, dude. They're kind of a pain in the ass, but also really scary. Plus, have the many spiders. They, they, I know good friends. Acop Star 16 that is afraid of spiders so badly, and he would hate Black Tiger in the spider enemies game, but the spider enemies aren't necessarily, but the spider enemies aren't too hard to take down. So yeah. Now we're gonna move on to the story. This game has some of the most cheesy lines and cheesy cutscenes in a lot of games. Now it's not as cheesy as the original game. The remake still has its cheese. Like, we don't exactly have the Jill sandwich moment. But don't think this game's not going to have cheese in it. It does. But it's a good kind of cheese in a way. Now the main characters, both Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, are absolute badasses. They are freaking. They are freaking awesome, dude. I love. I love seeing. I love just the cutscenes with them together. The cutscenes with them. They were so fun. And give me a second. Yeah, they don't like they have the deepest character arcs, but I like what they did with them in the game. Then learning that Stars is corrupt, that a member of Stars, their own team, is secretly working for was secretly working for Umbrella the whole time, aka Albert Wesker, was a cool storyline. Was a cool storyline. Then we have the separate characters in their own campaign. In Jill Valentine, she has Barry Burton. He's just a lovable guy with a good character arc of 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 after working for the wrong people, he does the right thing. He's a really cool character. And Chris's campaign is Rebecca Chambers, where she becomes more able to handle her own. They're both good characters. And I like both campaigns. Like, certain scenarios are different when they meet Enrico. The scenes in there are different. And also the meeting Richard. In Jill's campaign, she finds Richard on her own. But in Chris' campaign, she finds Richard with Rebecca trying to heal him. Albert Wesker is the main villain in this game, and he is a pure, cold, calculating villain. However, I do think he need to be in the game more, especially in Jill's campaign. But at least Trevor is also a great piece of lore. She's a great character. And in fact, the game has a lot of great lore. Once you find the notes, the more scary lore you get, and it makes the game feel scary. And I like in different like campaigns that they get two different items they keep for the entire game, like two signature items. For Chris, it's a lighter so he doesn't need to keep the lighter in his inventory, so he can burn undead like with one of the two items needed. But he doesn't have to. But he can't open a lot of doors that Jill can because she has the lockpick, which can open any door. Which can open any door without a special key. So they both have they both kind of have ups and downs with their permanent items, which I like. And I like they have two to start. And like while they have both have daggers as like defense items, they have two different. They have their second defense items are completely different from each other. For Chris, it's a grenade, and for Jill, it's a taser. I like that. That's a pretty cool thing. Now, with that being said, I highly recommend this game. It is a fantastic game. Don't be fooled by its cheesy cutscenes. This is one of the scariest games I've ever played. For its lore and creepy monsters. This, honestly, to me, is a 8.9 out of 10. I highly recommend it. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, hit the notification bell so you can know if I'm future. So without further ado, bye bye.